Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video, and it has been a while. Sorry, I've had exams and a whole bunch of other life problems kind of show up when it comes to recent times, which is why there's been a lack of videos on the channel, but we should be back in full force. So happy Friday, or happy Saturday, or happy Sunday. It should be a Friday this video goes out, but whenever you're watching this, which is in the next thing, thank you guys so much for tuning back in. I hope that I haven't lost all of you to the YouTube algorithm. And today we have a very, very exciting unboxing of the Fellowship Blades, I believe, GABOON. This is an absolutely gorgeous balisong. I remember when it first came out, I just took a look at it and I had to have one. Yeah, this was a gift from my aunt. So, big shout out to her. And yeah, I guess we'll start off with the unboxing. So I know that Fellowship Blades use a magnetic box, which is very, very cool. And so when you open it, you get a piece of paper that is stuck to the inside. But I believe this paper just warns you about sharp objects. You can see, warning contains sharp objects inside. And well, I guess we'll see. I also have this extra bushing package here, right? So you come with a little pack of extra bushings. These were also separately ordered, which is very nice to get these as well. And then also a set of the spare weights and a set of stainless washers, which is very, very cool. So very big thanks to Grant over at Fellowship Blades for designing this and designing a great package. Also, please excuse my neighbor, she's having construction happen. On top of this card, which is very cool, you also get given a kind of hex key or an Allen wrench. Right, it's very nice, very long, seems very sturdy. Oh my goodness. This magnetic box, I wish maybe it folded up a little higher. And you've got a 3D printed box here, which is honestly quite nice. And you get this, I believe this is a T15 bit for a driver. And of course, the main attraction that we are here for. Let's put this back like so. And put this just over to the side over here. We get the main attraction here, which is the GABOON itself. Now this thing is absolutely beautiful. It is raw, so I may potentially in future anodize this. Maybe a really nice kind of blurple or something. But you can see the T15 hardware. I believe this is made by Machine Wise. It comes on phosphor bronze washers, but as we saw, it does also have stainless washers, so I might be playing around with that. And these weights, depending on how handle biased it is, as it is currently set up, I will most likely swap these weights for bushings and then have a more neutral / blade bias experience, which will help tailor the balisong to what my personal preference, right? Or I may want to install some weights in. It might just be too light or whatever. So yeah, just taking a look at the edge here, it is absolutely stunning. And opening it, okay, it makes an interesting sound. Wow, the blade is absolutely stunning. I mean, look at this blade. It's got some, I don't know. It was opened in the States before it came to me, so maybe that's what this is. I can't imagine it came like this, but look at this. The milling on there is absolutely beautiful. You got the Fellowship Blades logo. Fantastic. Magna cut, this is GABOON number 160. And this does appear to be unsharpened, right? So this is completely dull. YouTube, don't kind of kill me for this. Yes, this is completely dull, which is really nice. It's kind of like the false edges, except I'd say it's actually quite comfortable. Oh, maybe except this small blemish here at the tip. You can kind of see there. It's maybe not as nicely rounded off. But yeah, lengthwise, it doesn't seem crazy long. It doesn't seem crazy short. Maybe it's slightly thinner than the average balisong. I would say this is maybe like similar length to like Orca, or maybe slightly shorter than the Kraken. I think maybe I wish the blade was a bit longer. I think for aesthetics. Yeah, maybe if the blade was a wee bit longer, I think it would look a bit better. Just add an extra ½ inch, just so that the blade kind of maybe ends a little lower down in the handles, the channels here. Obviously, it does already end quite low down. You do need much thinner spaces. But looking at this thing's absolutely beautiful. So let's give it a cheeky flip. Ooh. Okay. Wow. You know what? I wasn't expecting that. This thing is really light. That's the first thing that sticks out to me. This thing is really, really light. Like, what the hell? Did a spiderweb just get caught on my hand? This thing is very light, yes. It sounds nice. It's very comfortable. It's actually quite soft. This is quite glossy titanium. I'm not sure if it has a coating of some sort, maybe to protect against scratches or any anodizations that eventually get added, but it doesn't feel like your typical stonewash feeling. For example, the Serif has a much more... It feels like it's been stonewashed and like it's a satin feel. This feels kind of like crack and glossy. Not slippery, but just interesting. Yeah, very light, but it doesn't flip like it's a light balisong, if that makes sense. I mean, it flips well. You know, chaplains seem pretty stable. Okay, you can't go forever in terms of speed. And, you know, wow. Just the blade, the milling lines on the blade, I'm sorry, they are just absolutely stunning. I absolutely love this blade design, and it is easily probably one of my favorite blade shapes that isn't like a kukri in the balisong world. I mean, look at it. Look at this, man. Like this blade, oh my god, it's just beautiful. So this is a balisong that, you know, I probably can't ever sell due to it being a gift. Okay, aerials really nicely. Can we catch a scissor? I'm not sure. The tip is a little pokey. That's a really rubbish aerial. I also haven't practiced scissors whatsoever. And I've not flipped balisongs in a while because I've literally been swarmed with university exams. But it seems to fan really nicely. It's definitely on that edge of handle bias. And so I'm glad I got those bushings. I mean, they're very inexpensive. I think this came out to, yeah. The T15 screws are absolutely beautiful. I'd love to see if they're fully cranked down. In terms of tolerances, a little rattle. I'm not sure whether that might be a Zampin or something. Maybe it's not fully screwed down. I don't know if you can hear that. But in terms of tap, there is no tap. The play, you know, nothing crazy. I've seen better. But I'd rather, you know, I'd rather have really good tolerances like this that have no play, especially on a sandwich balisong. You know, it's difficult to get good tolerances on a sandwich balisong than necessarily have, you know, loads of play. I'd rather have consistency with this level of tolerance here. I'm sorry, fly just got on my face. I'd rather have a consistency with like this level of tolerance, as you can see here, than have, you know, some with really good tolerances and some with really bad tolerances. And of course, I have a spare set of bushings, so I can always try and tune this down to be even more perfect. I'll most likely switch this to stainless washers. Maybe it'll be a bit more tactile. Here's a sound test. It feels really nice. I feel like maybe it could benefit from some lube, just to make it feel a little bit more together. It feels like, okay, this is going to be a very niche case for some of you guys, but if you ever took apart your Cygnus and put it back together before you lubed it, it felt, not rattly, but like it was missing something. It kind of feels similar. Not quite as bad as it was on the Cygnus, but it kind of has a bit of that essence that a sandwich balisong can have if it's not fully oiled together. It is really, really beautiful. That's the one thing I'm just noticing. Oh. Okay. Yeah, it's just absolutely beautiful. It's really starting to flip. And I really like how not fatiguing it is on the hands. Please excuse my combos and my flips. They aren't as chained together as they might necessarily need to be. This is really, really nice. I think this as a platform for learning tricks is really good. Or for people like me, for example, my Alpha Beast, the one Alpha Beast, it was sometimes just a bit too heavy to flip for long periods of time. I play drums, right? I don't know if you guys know. And like this wrist is kind of beaten up, to be fair, from kind of poor technique when initially learning. So flipping heavy balisongs, I've realized, is something that can become quite uncomfortable quite quickly. And it's really not something that I want to hinder my enjoyment of the hobby. I've not been super active, of course, on any platforms lately as well, so I do apologize about that, but I definitely think this is something I want to spend some more time with and get to know it a little better. Put in those bushings here, although I do really like the squared off handle look here. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of the, you know, the single bushing at the end visually, but I am a fan of it flipping wise, and that was absolutely rubbish choker. So yeah, I think taking it apart, giving it a clean, putting in the bushings, see if I like it, test out the stainless washers. That's definitely on the plan. You know, big shout out to Grant at Fellowship Blades for designing this guy. Yeah, I mean, it beats out definitely the Medusa clone, for example. Obviously, that's my only other Fellowship Blades-esque experience. This thing is absolutely stunning. Yeah, I really, really am pleased with this as a balisong. Does it beat out the Seraph for me at a slightly cheaper budget? I'm not sure. I should have a Slifty on the channel eventually, and so we can have a comparison between Gaboon versus Slifty. Obviously, they're in that same price bracket, and I can really see, you know, what is the best, you know, Gaboon versus Slifty versus Cygnus, right? They're all in a similar price bracket. What really is the best value? Obviously, it will be determined on your flipping style, but what is the best balisong for you? Now that I've flipped this, I'm leaning more to the impression that this might be the perfect balisong for me in terms of the mid-tier titanium balisongs, especially if the more neutral balance is very much to my preference. So I'll be making a follow-up video for that, most likely on Sunday or on Tuesday. So look forward to that, although it'll be race day, so it might come out a little late. But I'm very excited to try out the Slifty as well, because the Slifty, albeit no longer in production, which I think is tragic, please, Dalen, you know, bring back the longer balisongs. At least if you're going to discontinue Slifty and Prisma and stuff like that, and you're introducing new balisongs, at least keep the long balisongs, because that's the one thing I really like about the machine-wise balisongs, is that length. The way they flip with the added length is so elegant. You can have basically the perfect balance of having tons of blade weight, but still roll over really stickily and still have loads of like end-weighted handles. The balance of this guy, I mean, it's from feel, it feels like a very, very light handle bias, but that handle bias is almost entirely end-weighted. I'm not sure if the spacers here are also titanium. They appear to be from the finishing, but they really, really balance out the weight of this balisong. The blade is also really well designed, where you can see you've got a pretty aggressive recurve and like a nice bulk up of material here up at the tanto with a fairly thick crowned spine. And the weight distribution feels fairly even throughout the whole balisong. Not Kraken level, but it's not as end-weighted as a machine-wise balisong, right? So I think the blade is very well distributed, and the handles have like a pleasing amount of end weight to them, which makes it really a coherent balisong. I can't exactly remember how Blade Bias felt about it. I don't remember him being crazy enthralled with this. Obviously, Blade Bias much prefers the Slifty, and so perhaps I will be the place on YouTube where I prefer the Gaboon. Even though I prefer Machine-Wise as a creator because of their insane tolerances and value for money from their lower price products, and I really love the Seraph. The Seraph has been a grail of mine effectively since its inception, or since my discovery of it, I should say. And I'm kind of lost for words, to be honest, at this Gaboon here. It is really, really not something I was expecting to enjoy this much. I'm definitely liking it more so than the Cygnus, for example. The Cygnus also had a similar lightweight kind of flipper feel. And whilst I'm not like too crazy about the whole lightweight thing, I think the way this does it is it flips heavier than it weighs, but in the best possible way, because it flips more so. It flips heavier than maybe it flips similar in terms of weight-wise to like a Prisma V1. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember. It definitely flips lighter than a Seraph, I did flip my serif a little bit before this just to get a little bit of a ground zero, like a control. It flips lighter than a serif, yeah, but I don't think it's significantly lighter than like a Prisma V1. And so I really am pleased with this. I'll come back to you guys in the following week with the GABOON. Thank you guys so much for watching. You know, leave a comment, leave a like, leave a subscribe, share the video, right? We got to get back on the YouTube game with the algorithm, make sure that we're getting all seen, you know. Drop a subscribe on both your emails for the GABOON here, and for more content on the channel, coming back more regularly. I want to be the most consistent and reliable place on YouTube for balisong content that isn't short form. And so I appreciate all of you that are subscribed. Thank you so much for 1,200 subscribers. I forgot to say that. I'll make a dedicated video for that. It's been an absolutely crazy journey. Yeah, thank you so much, guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.